Hey everyone, look, I made a YouTube video. Crazy, right? I made this video because Greg, Bearded Comic Bro, challenged everyone in the community to do a video of their top 10 DC covers. And I just had so many ideas about what my favorite covers were, and wanted to just dig through my long boxes again. And so I have 10 here, and I'll just get right to it. So first up at number 10, from the New 52, Animal Man, number 1, by Jeff Lemire, Travel Foreman. This is my first introduction to Travel Foreman. I think this is just an awesome cover. I love Travel Foreman's work. This is super creepy, but also super iconic. Great design sense. I don't love that DC logo that they changed to, but that's neither here nor there. But just this cover is, I think, just great. I love it. Probably one of my favorite books from the New 52 also. All right, next up, Preacher, issue number 66. This was the final issue of Preacher. This is actually the only issue of Preacher I own. But when I was going through my boxes and saw it, I just knew I had to pick this up. I think sometimes the covers are even more evocative than the content of Preacher. Preacher's great, obviously, but these Glenn Fabry covers, these painted covers with these angels coming down to take on, I believe, the Saint of Killers here. It's like, how can you not want to pick this up and find out what's inside of that? So yeah, number 9 here is Preacher, number 66. Number 8 is this I dug out of my long box. I don't even think I remembered having this, but it's this amazing Neal Adams cover. This is from 1977, Justice League of America, number 138. Just everything about this, screams Bronze Age. The typography here, these great dynamic Neal Adams figures. This is, the OG Justice League here with this Adam Strange. Obviously now the enemy of Earth and not the hero of Ran. But just this cover rules. I had to throw that in. All right, another modern book. This is Detective Comics, number 880. This was Scott Snyder before he was on the main Batman book. This was his detective run, which some people might argue a better run than his Batman run. I don't know. I don't want to start that conversation, but this Jock cover is just kind of mind-blowing. You could probably do just top 10 Jock covers and have a fun time, but the horde of bats forming the face of the Joker and this maniacal, horrifying character. Just this cover just hits you right in the face, so I had to pick that one. Number 6 is Jonah Hex, issue 56. This was the Jimmy Palmiotti with Justin Gray with various artists doing interiors run from the early 2010s. I guess this is August 2010 right here. But this is a Darwin Cook cover, and Darwin, R.I.P., one of the greats. I wish he was still around making comics. And this cover actually is, I think, a little atypical of Darwin Cook. There's all this hatching going on here. It's almost more like a Mobius cover. Like this looks like, and it very well could be sort of a tribute to Blueberry, Mobius's Western character. But I'm sure that half the reason I picked up this book was just this cover seemed so cool, and I like Westerns, but I never thought I would have been reading a Western comic. And this Jonah Hex run was great, and I think these covers really helped sell it. All right, we're into the top 5. So number 5, Swamp Thing, number 60. This is the Alan Moore run, John Toddleman. This is a John Toddleman cover. This story is wild. The story in here is wild. You see Swamp Thing's in some sort of a spacesuit. That's because in this particular portion of his story, his I guess his spirit, his essence is traveling through space and kind of attaching where it can to things. And this whole issue this blew my mind when I first read it. And the cover is, clearly just unbelievable. The atmosphere, it feels like Ridley Scott's Alien. It feels creepy, out there. I love it. All right, number 4, Darwin Cook is back for New Frontier, issue 1 of 6. This is a very atypical comic book cover. It's very designy, I would say. Maybe there's a little hints of Saul Bass and some of that like retro futurist stuff that you would have seen in the late 50s, early 60s. But this is just great design work, and it gives you kind of a window into what this story is going to be without showing you a character. And I had to put it on there when I was kind of reviewing my New Frontier issues. All right, here comes the top 3. So a lot of those were fairly obscure, maybe not the New Frontier one. These next 3 are going to be pretty recognizable for people. So first up, Superman Annual, number 11, from 1985. This is, of course, For the Man Who Has Everything, Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons' story where Mongol traps Superman in this weird plant parasite thing and sends him on the dream journey back to Krypton. This Dave Gibbons cover is just, this is great. This is superhero comics. This is one of the best Alan Moore stories of all time, and it's iconic. I mean, this is just one of the most recognizable covers and stories in the history of DC Comics. So I had to add that. Number 2 on my list, All-Star Superman, issue number 1. Not dynamic, but evocative. This is a Grant Morrison sort of culmination of their ideas about Superman. Really, I would open this up and show the first page. The first page is probably a perfect page of comics, but just, this kind of relaxing, mellow, thoughtful, introspective cover, it's maybe atypical for comic book covers, but it does, it's inviting, and I just love it, and Frank Whiteley is just, a master. All right, and number 1, and when you see what number 1 is, it had to be this. It had to be this. Kamandi, The Last Boy on Earth, number 1. This issue is not in good shape. I found it at a table at a convention. It was basically in a pile, and I had to rescue it. I had to, they were just like, yeah, $1 for whatever, $5 for 6 comics, it was one of those things. And I had to rescue, Jack Kirby's magnum opus of The Last Boy on Earth from this table. And this is just, it's Kirby. I don't know what to say about Kirby. It's Kirby. Statue of Liberty, evoking the end of Planet of the Apes. Sorry, spoiler alert. Just everything about this, canted angles, dynamics, it's moving. It feels like it's moving. It's, people say that all the time about Kirby's work, but his art looks alive. And I actually think even the fact that this is beat up, maybe you can't tell on camera here, but adds even a little more to this cover because, it's a post-apocalyptic world, things are crumbling, everything's gone to hell. And this issue has gone to hell. It's been beat up. But I'm so glad I own it. I don't even care what it's worth. As you can see, it's just raw. I probably should get it CGC'd since it is such a historic comic. But I just love it either way. And then I had to do a few honorable mentions quickly. There were 3 I ran across that I was just kind of blown away by. First, I'll just start with this. So there you go, Greg. I got another Batman book in there for you. the Sam Keith Batman cover. This is Detective Comics issue 655. This is sometime in the mid-93, it says right there. I love Sam Keith. I think this cover is like so cool. Batman getting ready to pound this little punk kid right in the noggin. Or maybe they're just gonna have a chat. I don't know. But love that Sam Keith cover. This one's just kind of wild. I don't know what's going on here, but this is a Justice League of America 132, and we have a cool Justice League lineup. We got Black Canary, Green Lantern, Supergirl, Green Arrow, Wonder Woman, and Batman, of course. And then I think this is Gorilla Grodd, but I cannot be sure. This might just be a bunch of like look, it's an elephant with a Morning Star mace. Wild, just wild. Like they're fighting these zoo animals. This giraffe has a spear. I don't know if you can see that. I just want to bring that up. That giraffe has a spear. So this cover, it just is awesome. I had to share that one. And then this I saw in one of my long boxes, and I don't even remember what happens in this story, but there's probably too much Joker out there, but this mullet era Superman turning into the Joker, it's just a really cool cover. I had to pull it out. It almost made the cut, but just not quite. And then real quick, this is a very long video now, but I wasn't sure if prestige format books counted. Greg, you can tell me. Maybe you should have your favorite prestige format comics, but I had a couple here that I had to just share because it's DC and because they're just awesome covers. So here's this Adam Warren story that he did, Titan, Scissor, Paper, Stone. It's been so long since I read this, but just this Adam Warren art, that kind of anime style is so cool. And I remember just thinking this was so awesome. This is an Elseworlds story. A couple of these are going to be Elseworlds stories, including Gotham by Gaslight. So this is a Mike Mignola cover. Again, what can you say? It's Mike Mignola. Beautiful shadows. I think this was Elseworlds before there was an Elseworlds imprint, possibly. So there's that one. Kingdom Come Volume 2, I believe. This is book 2. Alex Ross. I probably could have done all of the Kingdom Come covers, but this one I just especially loved. So I wanted to share that one. This one's wild. I don't know if people even know this. This is technically a crossover. So Superman Aliens, issue 1. This is this prestige format crossover that DC and Dark Horse did in the late 90s. This is after the speculative bubble, so maybe this is a money grab, but it's got this Kevin Nolan artwork, so it looks amazing. And then, of course, finally, The Killing Joke. Brian Boland, Alan Moore story. Much talked about, much discussed, but you can't deny that cover. Brian Boland, a master, amazing artist. Had to just throw it in as an honorable mention. So yeah, anyway, Greg, hope you like this video. Everybody else, hope you like this video. And keep reading comics.